Everyone wants to make fun gameplay in Geometry Dash, but the task can sometimes feel difficult. No matter how much I try to ensure that my level is enjoyable, there will inevitably be people who dislike it. But I'm not alone. Actually, it's quite the opposite. In fact, there is not one single level in existence that every player would enjoy playing. I say, if a level has no haters, not enough people have played it yet. There are so many different types of players who all approach playing levels with different mindsets. The best thing you can do for your own sanity as a creator is to find and understand your target audience. Ask yourself, who are you building this level for? Well, how do you even decide what type of player to build the level for? Well, the best way is to simply understand what type of player you are, and then build based off of that. If you've played a fair number of levels, you know which gameplay elements annoy you and which ones you find enjoyable. Use that knowledge to inform the choices you make while building. When I spent a lot of my time star grinding, I really enjoyed the levels made by a creator named Hydran. These levels to many players could seem boring or generic. This French glow style with fairly simple gameplay just doesn't make for an extremely memorable experience for most people. However, Hydran designed his levels specifically for star grinders, as he was one as well. When considered from this perspective, the levels are truly able to shine. They're designed to be beaten in one attempt. The simple gameplay isn't boring because you're almost always sight reading it. It also syncs to the music really well, which makes it satisfying to pull off while sight reading. The decoration isn't super detailed because the player won't have more than a few attempts at most to appreciate it. In this setting, simple designs with bright colors work perfectly. These levels are a perfect example of how knowing your target audience helps you build better levels. I imagine the vast majority of people watching this video are good enough to sight read Hydran's levels, so his gameplay being enjoyable probably isn't a controversial take. However, I would like to take a look at a difficulty range that's approached by different players in vastly different ways. Beginner Extreme Demons. This is a very popular range of difficulty because so many players look here wanting to beat their first extreme. I mean, it's literally the easiest. Of course you'd start here. But any player who wants to quickly add an extreme demon to their profile would also naturally look for the easiest ones. Someone looking for their new hardest would have a vastly different experience with any given level than a seasoned extreme demon grinder. They would likely have very different perspectives on what makes the level fun. The player looking for a new hardest might prefer a level with more nuance. This is why I believe Accu is a phenomenal level to beat as your first extreme demon. The gameplay is mostly made up of timings, some of which are a little complex and can take a bit of getting used to. A more experienced player might sight read these timings on their practice sessions, but die to them from zero due to not having learned the nuance. You know, Accu isn't actually the best example of this. A lot of the timings are actually fairly simple. I just bring it up because it's really well known, a very popular first extreme. More experienced players looking for a level to knock out quickly would probably prefer something simpler and more sight readable. Azurite by Silo is a very readable beginner extreme demon. It has a lot of ship and wave that skilled players can easily sight read, and the rest of the level is mostly composed of simple timings that are easy to learn, if not just straight up sight readable. A skilled player could tackle this level quickly, but beating it as a hardest? That could get frustrating. To someone going for their first extreme, the ship and wave sections would probably be more challenging than the other parts. They would struggle to build consistency on the ship and wave sections, which would lead to the level feeling choke point based. Azurite is a good example of gameplay being designed for a target audience, that being experienced extreme demon grinders. However, this isn't to say that nuance is always annoying in easier levels. My friend Zenix made Heat Seeker, which, despite being pretty complex, has been enjoyed by many extreme demon grinders. How did he do it? Well, he simply made it a memory level. No matter how good you are at the game, you will have to spend some time learning where you need to go here. You can't just use your raw skill to magically know where to go in a memory level. This means that everyone will have to learn the level's nuances, leading to less deaths that feel random or unfair. While your skill does play a big role in how you approach levels, it's only a small slice in the grand scheme of things. People simply have different tastes, enjoy different things, and will never be able to agree on what gameplay is good or bad. Some people enjoy the process of learning memory levels while others don't. Some people love click sync gameplay while others absolutely despise it. The smartest thing any of us can do is to figure out what kind of gameplay we like and do the best to build that gameplay as well as you can. The most important opinion on your level is your own. If you do want feedback on your level, Find a community of people who share a similar taste to you. The advice you receive from them will be far more valuable to you than advice just from the general community. I do bring this topic up in regards to gameplay, but it of course applies to decoration as well. In fact, this principle will be helpful for all forms of artistic expression. The real lesson here is to avoid making gameplay with the mindset of making a level that everyone will enjoy. It's an impossible task that will leave you feeling frustrated and disappointed every time. Trust me, I've been there. Once you realize that trying to satisfy other people's tastes is a waste of your time, you'll find creating so much more fulfilling. That's all I have for today. I know it was a shorter video. I just didn't have a ton to say about the topic. Next week's video is going to be my best and longest video of the new type of content I've been working on so far. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you enjoyed. Links to my Twitch, Twitter, and Discord are of course in the description. I'll catch you next week. Thank you all so much for watching.